This is Sir Leo III, your friendly neighborhood mod, and we are going to be going into extended roles for this video. So extended roles are simply used in tasks that aren't going to be instant. They're going to be things that take some length of time to complete. So the way that a DM would set up an extended role is you come up with some number to represent how the task is set, or how difficult the task is. And then the player will make one roll per whatever unit of time that you're using to say how long it takes to actually do the task. All right, so to kind of get into some numbers with that, the difficulty of the task, you raise the more successes it takes. So as you can see here, a simple task like changing the oil on a car might be a 5, but if you're actually removing the engine and replacing it with a different one, this might be a demanding task, something closer to like 15. And then you will have the player roll the successes, but that gives you the number, but not quite how long it takes. So right here you get a real quick thing for how long it takes for each time the player can roll. So if it's something that might be done in a combat, you'd of course use the one turn, for each time that they can roll. But if this is, you're role playing out in some type of longer scenario, which I'll be getting into an example with that in a bit. It can take longer. Something as simple as changing the oil in your car, as I was using before. You might use the short, so 10 minutes, and so you just find out how long it takes for the guy to change the oil in his car. And there you go. So as I mentioned before, for this series, I'll be using my team Dust for my example. So the scenario I'm going to be going over is Team Dust gets called in to protect a town that's having a bit of a more grim than usual. They believe it's some sort of migration. They're going to be here for about a week protecting the town. So Team Dust shows up and immediately finds out that one of the problems the town is having is that their local turret that they have to protect the town is broken. So this would be something that's going to take a little while to fix, and it's something that Sandcree would like to be working on. So we'll go down to Sandcree, and what we'll find... Now this would pretty obviously to be a craft check, and let's go with an intelligence plus craft. So that would be 5 die. So the DM tells her that every day she can spend 3 hours working, and that will correspond to 1 roll of the dice. So the first 3 hours she spends working here. We go 5M8. Remember, 5 is the number of dice, M is the type of dice code we're using, and 8 is the target number that the dice will be checking against. So for her first time rolling, she gets no successes and actually manages to break the piece a little bit. So I'm gonna make this a little bit more difficult. So I was starting off with 10 successes that she needs over the course of these 7 days, and so now she needs 11. It's kind of up to the DM what a critical failure will mean in a lot of scenarios. It's entirely possible for her to have completely broken the piece, and now it can't be fixed. So, but the first day that they're there, that's basically all that she does for 12 hours. So let's give her 4 rolls here. So 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Wow, she is really not doing a good job here. So these don't do anything, and as the DM, I'm just gonna decide that or as the storyteller, I'm just gonna decide that this last one also didn't do anything. She makes no headway on that first day. Well, the next day, her team decides they're going to go out and patrol for a while to go kind of find the Grim and find out what's going on. See if maybe there's a nest nearby or something. So she doesn't really have as much time to work on it. It's really only at the end of the day. So she goes in there, and look, she has 2 successes. So that'll get rid of that one that she messed up earlier and add one there, so she needs 9 more successes. Now, it's important, the DM isn't necessarily going to um, communicate exactly how many successes they got or how many successes they need, but they do need to communicate that progress is being made or that the player messed up, so the player gets an idea of what's going on. So the next day, the team wants to go out again, but Sancree's convinced that this is what needs to be done. So she actually stays in order to get the rest of those while the rest of the team goes out. So this is day 3. She's going to get 4 more rolls. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here she makes no progress, 2, and then 1. So she made 3 points of progress, which means that with the additional 2 that she made off of the 11 would be 5, so she needs 6 more. So the next day, though, the Grim attack during the night, and it's really harsh, and so her team decides they need her. They can't they can't leave her behind, so she decides to keep up with it. So this day is only going to get 1 chance to roll anything. Hey, and she makes some progress. So that's 7. She's 4 away, and that was day 4. So now she's on day 5. So if she doesn't get this done in time, they're not going to get a lot of help with this. But day 5, she insists she's almost done. The DM communicated that she's over halfway there, and she wants to spend all day working on this. The team kind of goes back and forth a little bit, but they let her stay behind, figuring that if she can get this turret done, they'll have some extra help, since the DM has been hinting that the attack on the last day might be fairly bad. So she's going to take 4 rolls today, since this is all she does. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, this is not nice. So this first one here is actually a -1, 0, -2. So that'd be -3. So and then +2. So she actually went down to 6 successes, which is so she made no progress today. This is one of those cases where the DM might choose to fudge some numbers or do something like that, but really she doesn't have that high of a craft skill. So this kind of makes sense. Like, although she's very smart, she's not the most handy person to actually be working on this. In fact, the next day, after she talks to Drasilia about this, Drasilia decides to try her hand. So Drasilia, whoops, wrong direction. That would not be the right person to be helping here. So Drasilia also would only have 5 dice here, but she decides to throw her hand in and help. So we're going to allow them to pool some of their resources together. We're going to use Drasilia's craft skill here and Sancree's intelligence for instead of 5 dice, that's going to bring the number up to 7. 4 for Sancree's intelligence, 3 for Drasilia's craft skill. So they're working together. The team is staying behind in order to get this done specifically. So now we increase this up to 7. And we roll 4 times. So this is day 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on day 6, they made a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is enough. So by the end of day 6, they have repaired the piece, and now they're able to use it in the final climatic battle that the storyteller is going to set up. So that is kind of in the basic form what an extended role action would be. Now, I'm going to recommend, though, that you think a little bit further into your extended actions, and you can actually kind of separate them out some in order to make them more interesting. So the easiest way to do this is to call some of the things different, kind of different levels of what you actually need. So let's say that the first 2 points, so we're going to stay with 10 points. The first 2 points is less about just fixing it and finding out, and more about finding out what's wrong. So this would actually be a wits plus craft check, which actually puts Sankri at more of a negative. So let's do wits plus craft, which would be 4m8. And so she needs to get 2 successes, and then she'll know what's wrong with it. And so, as I said, that first day, let's say that she spends all day working on it when they first get there. So 1, 2, oh, we actually don't even need to keep going. So that first one told her that now she knows what's wrong with it. And she knows now that in order to fix this, she's going to need a welder. She needs to weld in order to get this all the way fixed. So she tells her team this. They of course don't know at first, so they're going to go out and explore the town. So let's go with Drasilia, the team leader, who is... Well, actually, let's look around real quick, see if there's somebody that would be more useful for this. So I'm going to show you a kind of a social role here. So nobody in the team has socialize, which is the skill I'm looking at right now, for kind of going in and talking to people. If somebody needed to be intimidated, we'd be good here, but without that, we're not really gonna have much luck. So let's say that that Teamer here is going to go around in town, and he's going to try to use his streetwise here in order to talk to some of the people around and find out what's actually if there's somebody around that has a welder. So we'll take his presence 2 plus streetwise, which would be a total of 3. Now, if the DM wasn't going to allow him to use streetwise and really wanted it to be socialized, as they just go around trying to make friends instead of just looking for information, be aware that he would actually only get 1 dice, because it would be his presence plus 0, and because he's untrained in socialize, he actually gets this -1. That's what these numbers up here mean, is if you don't have the skill in either the social or the physical, you get a -1 dice to it. And if you don't have the skill in the mental, it's a -3. It's much harder to fake knowledge than it is to fake the ability to throw a punch or to talk to people. So we got a total of 3 dice. So the DM goes and he rolls 3 dice for him going out. And wow, he got 4 successes with 3 dice. So let's actually look at how he got that one. So as you can see, 8, 8, 10 is what he rolled, and then he re-rolled the 10 and got another 8. So that's 4 successes. Now, if he only got 1 success, I was going to send them off to the local automotive shop where they have a kind of dinky little welder to work on, but you know what? He got extra successes. He finds out that the guy who used to work on the guy who used to work on all of this is left his wife, and so when they go to talk to the wife, she tells them that he did leave his welder behind, and they are welcome to use it because he was a piece of shit. And so they can totally just have it. Like she's just a very angry person. So this is all kinds of role playing opportunities. You see how already this is more interesting than just telling the player, oh, you've made some successes and stuff like that, and we managed to get other members of the team involved. So now we have this much better welder. So the original welder, I wasn't going to. They were just had the basic equipment that they needed, but this is a very high-end piece of welding equipment, and so I'm going to give them a +2 equipment bonus while using it. So welding is less about your intelligence or your wits and is more about your hand-eye coordination. So I'm going to use her dexterity plus craft. So 5 plus the equipment bonus, which is 2 more, so 6, 7. And so she's going to be rolling 7 dice here. So it's day 2. She goes out with the rest of her team and only gets really 1 chance to work on this. So day 2, she gets 1 success. So I'm going to say that the welding is going to take a total of 5 successes in order to get through. As I said before, so that would bring the grand total so far up to 7 once she gets those 5 successes. So day 2, she makes some progress, but not a lot. She didn't have a lot of time, so she didn't get as far as she meant to. Day 3, she decides to stay behind. She wants to get this welding done today. So let's get some. So that means she gets 4 chances to work on it today. So 1, 2, 3, and already here I don't need to keep going. So she got 3 successes on the first one, plus the 1 from yesterday. So that's 4 successes, 5 successes, 6, 7, 8 successes. But I'm gonna stop her at once she got the 5 to let her know that now she's gotten all of the armature and all of the pieces welded up. Now what's left to do is to hook up the electronics that had been disassembled. So this is going to be a computer-based task. And so does she have any computer skills? She doesn't. That's going to be a bit of a problem. So she knows now she needs to find someone who knows something about computers, which is not V and is not Drasilia. So now they need to find out if there's somebody in town who can help them with this. So we would go back to using Streetwise or something like that to find out what's going on, and the team can keep going. But you can already see how if you break up the task into smaller things and have so you can have more of the team working on it, you get more of a chance for interaction instead of just trying to math out, how many times I can get a task done in a day and working on all of that. Which is a much more interesting way to set up your extended challenges. All right, so that is extended challenges. The next video is going to be on contested challenges. Contested challenges are challenges that work only with that work when you're working against somebody else. So they're very similar to extended challenges, so I wanted to start off with these, but they are a bit different. So thank you. Have a good day.